I'd like to give all glory and praise and honor unto the Most High. We're gonna get into it today, man. Now today we're gonna be looking at the movie Gladiator. It's one of my favorite movies, man. Even though it's historically inaccurate, it's still a good movie. And we're gonna be looking at how, you know, these characters, the main characters, were similar like onto the story of Cain and Abel. Because I kind of been on this Cain and Abel talk lately. So, it reminded me of the movie Gladiator, man. So, we're going to get into that, man. So, right here at the top, you have Maximus, who's the main star, and you have at the bottom right, you have Marcus Aurelius, who's the Roman emperor. And then you have his son to the left, Commodus. So, in the story of Cain and Abel, we know that the Most High had no respect onto Cain, his orphans. He had no respect for him, because he seen that he was really wicked. Now, in this movie, you're going to see his father, Marcus Aurelius, had no respect onto him because he seen, that, look, man, he wasn't really a good man. He wasn't a moral man. He wasn't just and upright. But he had respect onto, Maximus. Maximus was a warrior. Maximus was battle tested on a battlefield. So we're gonna take a look at this scene right here, and you're gonna see, the interaction between how he treats, his own son versus how he treats, Maximus. Let's take a look at this scene. Because Maximus was more like onto Abel, and Commodus was more like onto Cain.
You have proved your valor yet again, Maximus. Let us hope for the last time.
There's no one left to fight, sire.
There is always someone left to fight. How can I reward Rome's greatest general?
Let me go home.
Home.
They honor you, Caesar.
It's for you, Maximus. They honor you.
Have I missed it? Have I missed the battle?
You have missed the war.
Father, congratulations. I shall sacrifice 100 bulls to honor your triumph.
Save the bulls. Honor Maximus. He won the battle.
General,
Highness.
Rome salutes you, and I embrace you as a brother. It has been too long, my old friend.
Highness.
Here, Father. Take my arm.
I think it is time for me to leave. We go. So much for the glory of Rome.
So you see the interaction that they had. It was an awkward interaction. The war was already finished, and you had his son rolling up after the battle, talking about, "Father, have I missed the battle?" He said, "Look, you missed the whole war." And he told him to reverence Maximus because Maximus won the war for us. And, there was an awkward interaction. You see that sneer and that disdain that he had for Maximus. And what was really supposed to happen, usually the father, who was the Roman emperor, is supposed to pass down the, the son is supposed to be the heir to the throne, and he's supposed to pass down, you know, his throne to the son after he's gone. But what's happened is he's seen that his son is like immoral. He's seen that his son is not a good person. He's seen that his son was a coward, and he didn't want to pass the throne to him, you know. But the son seen that, look, he had a reverence for Maximus. He likened onto Maximus more. So that's just like the Most High, you know, showing respect onto Abel, but not onto Cain, because he could see his deeds, man. Oh, man. You know, he comes barging in after the whole war is done. You know, talk about have I missed the battle. You know, his father knew that this guy was no good, man, and he didn't want to pass the throne to him. So I wanted you to pay attention to this scene. We're going to look at this scene one more time, and you're going to see how Marcus Aurelius was probing Maximus, you know, just to find out where his mentor was at. Let's take a look at this scene real quick.
There's no one left to fight, sire.
There is always someone left to fight. How can I reward Rome's greatest general?
Let me go home.
Home.
So he came to him and he asked him, look, after all this, how can I reward Rome's greatest general? He's really trying to find out, like, you know, what's the intentions of this guy. And he just said, I wanted to go home. He didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for, you know, any position in leadership. You know, he just said, I want to go home. And he said, home. And you're gonna find out why, you know, once we keep going. You know, and this kind of reminded me of when, you know, when the Most High asked King Solomon what he wanted, and he said, look, give me wisdom. You know, he didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for riches. You know, he just, you know, this guy just said, look, I want to go home. That's it. So we know in the Bible, when the Most High came to certain men to carry out certain tasks, we know that, you know, based on my last lesson, I showed you, look, he searches out their heart first. For example, when he came to Moses, and he told Moses, look, man, you're going to be the one to lead my people. Moses didn't want to do it, you know. He said, he asked Moses, why are you choosing me? You know, my brother Aaron is more equipped. And then Moses told him, look, no, it has to be you. It has to be you. Moses was refusing, you know. But the Most High said, no, it has to be you. Why? Because he already searched his heart out. When he first came to King Saul, like I told you, King Saul ran away. He didn't want nothing to do with that position, you know. When he came to Gideon, you know, was scared. He ran away, you know. They all didn't want anything to do, you know, with you know, that kind of power, that kind of leadership. You know, they all ran away. King David was in the back tending to the sheep. He wasn't thinking about, you know, being no king or nothing like that. But the Most High had already searched out these guys' heart. The intentions, you know, they were pure. You know. Oh man. So in this scene, you're gonna see the dialogue between, you know, Marcus Aurelius and Maximus, and what he wanted for Maximus.
There is one more duty that I ask of you before you go home.
What would you have me do, Caesar?
I want you to become the protector of Rome after I die. I will empower you to one end alone, to give power back to the people of Rome and end the corruption that has crippled it. Will you accept this great honor that I have offered you?
With all my heart, no.
Maximus, that is why it must be you.
But surely a prefect, a senator, somebody who knows the city, who understands her politics.
But you have not been corrupted by her politics.
And Commodus?
Commodus is not a moral man. You have known that since you were young. Commodus cannot rule. He must not rule. You're the son that I should have had. Commodus will accept my decision. He knows that you command the loyalty of the army.
I need some time, sire.
Yes. By sunset, I hope you will have agreed. Now embrace me as my son. And bring an old man another blanket.
So you see right there, he asked him, he said, I need you to be my successor. You know, I need you to take my place. And he said, no. Just like the men in the Bible. He said, I can't do it. And Marcus Aurelius is saying, like, that's why it has to be you. Because most men in that position, when they get given that offer, they would lust after power. You know, they'll be like, yeah, give me that. I want to be the king. I want to be that. And Maximus asked him, look, what about Commodus, your son? He told him, look, man, that's not a good man. That's an immoral man. You know, he cannot sit in that throne. He can't sit in that seat of power. You know, he wanted to give it to somebody that was just and upright. You know, Maximus wasn't corrupted. So you see, it's kind of like also like Esau and Jacob too, and how, you know, when you read the book of Jubilees, it tells you furthermore that how, you know, Isaac, she started to see the deeds of Esau, and Rebecca started to see the deeds of Esau, and they realized, like, nah, Jacob is the one that's gonna, carry my namesake forward. You know, it can't be Esau. You know, so you see that the father had no respect and reverence onto his own son because his deeds was evil, and he had reverence onto Maximus. Oh man. So let's keep going.
Are you ready to do your duty for Rome?
Yes, Father.
You will not be emperor.
Which wiser older man is to take my place?
My powers will pass to Maximus, to hold in trust until the Senate is ready to rule once more. Rome is to be a republic again.
Maximus.
Yes. My decision disappoints you?
You wrote to me once, listing the 4 chief virtues: wisdom, justice, fortitude, and temperance. As I read the list, I knew I had none of them. But I have other virtues, Father. Ambition. That can be a virtue when it drives us to excel. Resourcefulness, courage. Perhaps not on the battlefield, but there are many forms of courage. Devotion to my family, to you. But none of my virtues won your list. Even then, it was as if you didn't want me for your son.
Oh, Commodus, you go too far.
So I'm gonna stop right there. So you see, he can't understand why he's rejected, because the father could already see through him, you know. Oh man! And then what happened? He killed his own father. And what did he do after he killed his own father? He tried to kill Maximus. And what did this guy do when he got to the throne? This guy was a tyrant when you watch the movie. Corrupt, man. You know? He was a straight tyrant, man. So you see, these guys, they lust after the power, but they don't fit the mold, man. You know, and then you have other guys that don't want nothing to do with it. But those are the ones that that the Most High chose. Most High chose to carry their will forth. And you see in this movie how the emperor chose. He rejected his own son, because. And he chose Maximus. He had reference onto Maximus because his son didn't go through the trials of the fire. He wasn't tested on the battlefield. Like the scripture says, once again, if you be without chastisement, you a bastard and not a son, man. So this is what this kind of movie reminded me about, like a little story about Cain and Abel, man. As you seen, the deeds of this guy once he got into power, man. He was a tyrant, bro. So. This is why, when you go back into the beginning, his father was asking him, what can I do for Rome's greatest general? He really wanted him to say, he really wanted to give him the throne. He wanted him to say, look, man, I want the throne, I want this and that, but he was probing him. He wanted to see where his mind was at, because he wanted to give the power to Maximus, So that's really what he was asking him in the beginning. He was searching him out. Just like how the Most High was, searched out the hearts of men. He was searching them out right then and there, when they were on the battlefield, asking them, like, what can I do for Rome's greatest general? And then when he proposed it to him, he rejected it. And then, that even made him more happier because he said, that's why it has to be you, Because, like I said, once again, most men, they lust after that kind of power, man, So, man, but they not ready for that, those kind of things, because you see when this guy came to the throne, his son, he was out of control. So this is what this movie basically showed, man. The rejection of Cain and the acceptance of Abel. This is showing you this in this movie. This is what I seen when I looked at it. So hopefully it was edified, man. All praise to the Most High, and hopefully you got something from it.